Hello everyone, this is Sweet Sour, and I am creating a new set of videos that will offer a tutorial experience for WeakAuras. The reason being is WeakAuras is an amazing add-on that I absolutely have fallen in love with since last expansion when I started using it, and a lot of people want to use it and don't really know how. I mean, I don't blame them because there is a steep learning curve to it. You open up the UI and it's just you don't know where to start. And I know exactly what that feels like because I went through the exact same thing and it was definitely an uphill climb. So, thankfully WeakAuras offers the ability to copy and paste import strings, which people who don't really know how to use WeakAuras to import them, but people obviously want to import their own, or sorry, create their own. So hopefully this set of videos I create will allow people to do just that. So to start off, we're going to start out slow. We're going to get you used to the UI, the interface of the whole add-on, and just little tricks and tips as well on the side. And then we're going to get into actually creating the auras, and then ultimately I'll show you how to do more advanced auras dealing with code that allow you to create more dynamic auras, which can actually help save you from creating multiple layered auras. And it's just but the thing is, you need to have some kind of coding experience. I can offer some assistance with learning some code, but there kind of has to be some foundation of coding knowledge there already. But anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. So when you have, and this whole video right now is assuming that you have little to no experience with WeakAuras, so you have no idea what you're expecting when you open up WeakAuras. And who knows, maybe you know some stuff about WeakAuras, but you might learn some stuff from the tips and tricks that I go over in this video. So when you open up WeakAuras, you'll type in /WA, and you have this. Now, right off the bat, you're seeing a lot of information, a lot more than what you'd normally expect when you first install the add-on. Simply because on the left column there, right here, those are all auras that I've created. So you're not going to see any of this on a fresh install. It's just going to be an empty list. It's just going to show, this is actually what it's probably going to look like. It's going to show new, loaded, and not loaded. So it'll look a lot less daunting when you open it up on your end. But the one thing that will appear is a list of different auras you can create. So these are the things that you would click on to actually create a new type of aura. And as you can see, there's a lot to offer. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through a lot of those over the next few videos, try and get you comfortable with WeakAuras. So just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect, let's okay. So what might happen as you start creating auras is, for example, you might have an aura already selected. And you're just like, wait a minute, I want to create a new aura. How do I see those buttons that we just saw on the right side? So we're going to go up to the very top, click new, and they're back. So it's just the new button at the very top, which will allow you to access those buttons again. All right, now we're going to get you used to the tabs and the actual interface on the right side of when you're gonna go through and create auras. So to begin, you're going to have 6 tabs to play with. So display, trigger, conditions, load, actions, and animations. By default, it'll display tab. So here we go. Obviously, all this information is going to be very different based on what type of aura you create. But this is where you're going to be formatting everything that, visually what makes your aura the way it is. Right, we're going to go to a icon aura. This is probably one of the most common auras that you'll find, so I figured it'd be easier to just start with this. And so as you can see, you got your text formatting tools here, And then you actually have your aura formatting tool. So you got your width, your height. We're going to go a little bit more into detail when we actually create an icon aura. But this is basically, yeah, this is all purely formatting. And then to actually trigger auras into existence, or not, maybe not into existence, but into occurring, or whichever way you want to say that, this will be the tab. This is where all the magic's going to happen. So this is where it gets really advanced, or at least it can. But you can get something very basic where it's just an aura, so like a buff. But this is where this is the most advanced part of WeakAuras right here. This is where you do purely with code. So we're not going to get into any of that anytime soon. But we'll definitely get there. So status is more for, well, it just offers a whole other range of trigger options based on various options. So you can just kind of go through the list and you can kind of realize how helpful this can all be. So conditions I personally haven't touched too much on, so I can't really say for sure what they do. I can just take a quick look if trigger one, interesting. Okay, well, we'll get to that at another time anyway. All right, so load tab is basically what instructs auras to load and when. So we have some that are fairly self-explanatory. I think most of them are actually pretty self-explanatory. Like, we don't want to load it in combat. But the thing is, like, a lot of these checkboxes are multi-clickable. So we got in combat, not in combat, and then just both. So it'll happen on in combat or not in combat. Now, if you ever want an aura to never load, like, indefinitely, you just check never. All right, so you can say, like, you know, my character's name is Sweet Sour, so I only want this aura to load on my character, Sweet Sour, or Fire Tree, or, you know, class. It just goes down the list, and there's quite a bit offered to help dictate when you want an aura to load or not load. All right, action, there's a little bit of fun stuff here. This is where you would get into playing sounds or creating button glows, or, you know, getting into code again. So you can put code pretty much anywhere in any aura, and it can create an amazing experience for your aura if you know how to do it. And then we have animations. So there are 3 categories of animations. Start is basically when the aura is triggered. Like, the moment the aura is triggered, this animation is going to fire. And then while the aura is triggering, this is when this category would fire. And then as the aura is going away, like when it's done triggering, this would fire. So that's basically your intro, your main body, and then your outro, if you look at it that way. So those are the main areas that we'll be playing with. And so just a little bit of extra navigational tips when dealing with auras are anything to do with the left side. So what we have here, we're going to show you little tricks, or sorry, I'm kind of stumbling here, but anyways, this is the structure of the left side. As you can see, I can collapse it. This is considered a group, and there are 2 types of groups. There's dynamic, and then there's just normal. So I'll just quickly show you what I mean. So it's a group, so it controls the positioning and configuration of multiple displays at the same time. So it's essentially a container. All right, so if you have like 5 auras, instead of having to place them individually or, you know, move them individually, you could put them in a group. And if you want to keep them in their same position but move them elsewhere on the screen, you just move the group and they all move at the same time. Now you have dynamic group is a group that dynamically controls the positioning of its children. And this one is really cool for basically see if I can. For example, say you have 3 auras that could trigger at any amount of times, and like there's no real way to say when they're going to trigger, but multiple can happen at the same time. Dynamic auras will allow you to, I guess, they automatically layer themselves based on how many auras are displaying at one time. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you see it, it's actually really nice. But just based on the icon just to the left of where it says dynamic group, see how it's kind of expanding and contracting? That's essentially what it's going to do. So if you look at the red line, say that's a progress bar, the green box that appears, that's an icon, and then the blue one is a progress bar as well. So it's going to expand to show an icon aura and then collapse to hide it again. So it's a really cool group to play with, and it can be very helpful. But we're going to get into the specifics of that at a later time. All right, so now we're seeing a bunch of little arrows here. What do these arrows mean? Well, the up and down arrows just basically allows you to organize your auras. So you can move them up, you can move them down. You can actually just, click and drag them to move them as well. You don't have to rely on the auras, or the arrows rather. And if you want to move them out of a group, I think this will work. No, it won't. Okay. To get them out of a group, it's this third arrow here. See how it says ungroup? Remove the display from its group. So it's out of the group, and it's on its own. Now, let's say you created a group, or you accidentally move it out of the group and you want to get back in the group. How do you do that? Well, there's a little arrow here. Group. Put this display in a group. Boom. So when you put an aura in the group, it's always going to go to the bottom of the list. So I'm just going to put that there to reorganize. All right, so the other thing you've probably noticed are these little eyeballs. Now, these are very handy for when you want to display multiple auras at the same time. Like, say, for example, if you're just trying to position them. And when you select an aura, the eyeball is half open. And all you can see is the aura that you selected. So that basically just means that that aura is going to be in view while you have it selected, but it's not going to be when you unselect it. So we can actually make it permanent by clicking on it, and now it's a full eyeball. And if we go to click this one, it'll actually remain there. But this one is half eyeball, so it's gonna disappear when I uncheck it. We'll click on that, and now we have the bar and the aura. So it allows you to see multiple auras at the same time. And you can hide them completely, or you can show the whole group at the same time just by clicking on the group's eyeball. So I think that's about it, honestly. Yeah, and you can view an entire group, like the loaded group or the unloaded group. But when you open WeakAuras, oh, apparently I messed up that. That's right, I forgot to set that back to in combat. Anyway, so when you open up WeakAuras, it's going to have all your loaded selected by default. So that's why everything's showing every time you open it. Until you select something, it's going to show everything. Anyway, so that's a great start, I'd say. Good intro to WeakAuras and just navigating it and knowing where to find what. So the next video, we'll probably start creating icon auras for a cooldown, which is very common. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps. Leave any comments for any suggestions on what could help in future videos if I were to add it. And yeah, I guess, the whole obligatory hit like, subscribe. Yep, good times. Anyways, take care, guys. I'll see you in the next video.